On today's episode of Reels Talk with Amanda and Omar, we're going to be doing our review of the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, so stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone. Today, as you can see, we have a guest host with us, Miss Maddie, who
is the know-it-all of Sabrina comic books and
ask her
everything.
Anything. She'll tell you.
Maybe not.
He has read a comic book about Sabrina. How about that? That's more than me.
Put that on my resume.
Yep.
So
Read the book.
That is what we're talking about, right? We're talking about the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina.
That's right.
Which premiered on Netflix when, Amanda?
October 26th, and we've all binge watched it already.
And this is this is based because the screenwriter and the producer and showrunner, Robert Sacasa, also wrote the comic book, right?
That's right.
Because I remember him, he wrote Fantastic Four, The Marvel Knights 4 with Steve McNiven, and he had a run on Sensational Spider-Man with Angel Medina.
Yeah.
And a couple other comic books. But I haven't read The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina.
And he's done a lot of TVs too. Glee, Big Love as well. Right. So he has those credits behind him also. So
before we talk about the show, though, spoilers.
So pretty much The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, the synopsis is we have Sabrina, who is half witch, half human, and the entire season we're dealing with how she reconciles her dual nature. There's a lot of excellent supporting cast members in this TV show, and a lot of really great storyline. And it has a lot of twists and turns in it that you don't expect. Even if you read the comics, which Maddie and I both did read the comic.
Now the comic's on hiatus, isn't it? So it's not even finished.
Right, indefinitely.
Yes.
Indefinitely, because he's too busy doing this show, probably.
Probably, I would say.
Now, was he also doing Riverdale? Or did he pitch this to run on the CW originally?
He did. He pitched it to run on the CW originally. They did not end up picking it up. Warner Brothers sold it off to Netflix.
Oh, well, good call. Okay.
Yeah, but they're still connected in CW some way because Greg Berlanti is one of the producers, and he's the producer of the Arrowverse, of course.
And there's also a Riverdale Easter egg in Sabrina where one of the characters from Riverdale
have died?
Yeah.
No, but the pizza delivery guy,
the pizza
right?
delivery guy.
Yeah.
I
think.
And they mentioned Riverdale, I think, once or twice.
Yeah,
so even though it's not, you never see complete connection, obviously it does exist in the same universe to some extent. But let's go ahead and just talk about our overall thoughts. So we've watched the season. Go ahead, Omar. What are your thoughts coming into it as someone who hasn't read the comic before?
When I was a kid, I did read some of the comics, the Archie comics, because when a kid really didn't. Coming into this, when I found out that there was not going to be a Stranger Thing this year, I was like, oh, well, maybe this kind of will take its place. And I'll tell you right from the beginning, the little girl that was casted as, she's not little anymore, but the girl that was casted as Sabrina.
Kiernan Shipka?
Yeah, I had my doubts about her because she was in Mad Men, and she wasn't the greatest actress. But then I realized that her mother's played by January Jones, so that might have been the problem, that she was just trying to mimic the bad acting that January Jones brought into the character. But anyway, so I had my doubts, and at first it started kind of cheesy, very stereotypical, and I kind of knew where things were going. And then Miss Wardell, the minute that she gets killed, I'm like, oh, now you got my interest. What's going on here? As soon as she gets stabbed with the scissors by who later on we find out is Madame Satan, I was like, okay, what is this? What's going on here? It's more brutal than I anticipated. It's darker. It's like it's
not Sabrina the Teenage Witch, guys. It's not TGIF at all.
No, there is no talking cat. Unfortunately, that would be kind of cool to see. Salem, is that his name?
That was my only nitpick.
He talked when he was a gargoyle, right?
Yeah, he's not talking right now.
Maybe it was one of those shows that I'm like, oh, maybe I can watch this with my 9-year-old. She watches a lot of scary movies with me, but I think there's a lot of sexual things in this, and also just the talk of the satanic worshipping witch part, the witching thing, where it kind of throws me off a little bit because I thought they pushed it a lot when what in heaven's name they say, like, what in Satan's name,
or they say hail like Satan or things like that.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. So I'm like, maybe not for a 9-year-old.
Yeah. And
maybe we should get a little bit older.
The Satanic Church is suing them for their use of the statue Baphomet. It's in the school, and they're suing them.
Is that a fun fact?
Because it is a fun fact because they said that Baphomet posed for them, and so they're saying that. They're saying that they're suing.
That is a fun fact.
Netflix for that. So fun fact. The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina already has controversy. That's what makes a great show, right, guys?
Yeah, there you go.
I will say I did not like a lot of the cinematography or the way that they took some shots. Everybody gives J.J. Abrams a lot of shit for lens flare, but I'm going to give the guys behind this show a lot of shit for the blurry vision like every other shot was a blurry vision. Kind of cool at first, especially during some chase scenes, like with the Scarecrow.
Yes.
Which was really awesome.
Great.
But then it just became a little too much. I'm like, okay, that's way too much of this, and it kind of, yeah, I don't know. But that's my one little nitpick. What about you, Maddie? What did you think?
So I read the comic to get ready for this coming out, and I did not like the comic, and it's very rare that I don't like a comic.
Yeah.
And I love Sabrina. I love stories about witches.
Did you like the original Sabrina, the Teenage Witch?
Yeah.
Melissa Joan? Oh, okay. Sorry.
Who didn't love that Sabrina?
I never watched a single episode, guys.
Oh, it was great.
Oh my god.
You need to. Maybe we should binge watch that.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
So, anyways, I read the comic book, and on paper it should be something that I would love.
Of course, yeah.
And I thought it was wicked boring.
Wicked boring.
And I can't find a better way to describe it. Just I was bored to tears reading that book.
Okay.
So when I went into the show, I had very, very low expectations.
Oh.
And I was incredibly surprised. I love everything about it. Honestly, I love the style of everything. I think that really grabs me. Not just the style of the shots, but also the style of the town itself. I think as far as world building for Greendale. Right?
Yes, Greendale, yeah.
For the world building for Greendale, they did a fantastic job. And I love the style. And everyone looks so on point.
I love the style.
Vintagey, but still modern, like they all shopped from ModCloth.
They probably did.
It does have a timeless look to the town. And the lack of cell phones and lack of laptops. It reminds me of like Batman the Animated Series. You question yourself like, when does it take place?
And if anything, I was happy about that. I didn't mind.
Yeah.
Because I love the setting still. I love the 60s setting. I love the old cars and the old outfits.
Oh, those dresses with the Peter Pan collars.
Yeah.
Yeah, that stuff.
The doilies?
Yes.
Yeah, it's cute.
The doilies.
Okay.
Anyways, I thought all the characters were fantastic. I love Sabrina. I love that actress already. I loved her in Mad Men. I love all of her friends. Everything that they added to the show from the comic was just great. They made a lot of fantastic choices. Because really, the comic, although I thought it was really boring, had a good basis there. And I felt like they really took this and took out all that could be good from it and really expanded on that in a way. And made those, like, much needed changes to make it a good story. Especially with Madam Satan, because I did not like her in the book. And I loved her. And I'm so glad they cast Michelle Gomez.
I'm just wondering where she was hiding that body underneath that Mary Poppins outfit in Doctor Who.
It was always there. You could tell. She just has a natural sexiness about her.
Oh, yeah.
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 Sorry,
I was just thinking.
It's true. I guess for me, I loved it instantly. You know, as someone who loves this type of high fantasy type of scenario, witches and ghouls and things like that. Maybe not the whole satanic part, but it was interesting to see that in a different light. And they actually said that a lot of the spells they used were actual Wiccan spells. And the girl who plays Prudence, Tati Gabrielle, she was always a little leery because she grew up Baptist, right? And even on set, they would say, "Hail Satan," and she would just say, "Curse you." She's like, "I can't say that." It was really cool to see all that, and, you know, as someone who loves Buffy, this is what I gravitate to. So I really enjoyed it. I thought Kiernan Shipka did a great job as Sabrina. This is not Melissa Joan Hart's. She had a lot of depth. She did a really good job portraying her, like, good side versus her not so good side. Her evil side, if you will. I don't even say it's evil, but she played that character so well. A lot of this...
I think cutting someone's throat is
pretty evil. That she could do it, yeah. I mean, it had good intentions, right?
Well, I think that's the whole point of her character, though, right?
Yeah.
It's just like both of that is inside of her.
Yep.
And she has to learn how to deal with it.
Exactly.
Because I think the overall arc is that Mrs. Wardell has been just trying to get her to sign the book, right? Because she promised Sabrina to the Dark Lord.
Yes. So
I assume we find out later on, right? So she can become Queen of Hell.
But little does she know.
I think that the devil has.
So I think that was my problem, maybe a little bit with the character of Sabrina. Maybe you two can probably relate more to her. Was the brattiness of her character of just doing whatever she wanted.
But see, now she's a teenager.
Yeah, she's a teenager.
So she's 16 years old. Why would you expect her to
using your mom and dad's credit card and then slicing someone's throat?
But you have to take it. This is a different circumstance. You could say it's things about Buffy the Vampire Slayer episodes.
Harry Potter.
And Harry Potter, they've done stuff. Granted, there's not as they're a little bit more PG than this was, but they've done stuff that even you're like, really, Harry?
Well, Buffy
you
wasn't
just talk to an
like,
adult
I don't
about
like
this?
Buffy, and I don't like Harry.
Well,
I like
okay, so
other
that's your
characters in
thing.
the series.
Yeah.
Like Buffy, I never liked the character of Buffy, and I never liked the character of Harry
But you
Potter.
like
but the other
supporting
characters, yeah, of course.
Yes, and this
I
has
just
a
that's
lot of
how I
great
feel
supporting
just
characters.
about her. The characters that I really liked, like Ross. Well, let's talk about the characters.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys really liked Sabrina.
We did.
Okay, I thought she was okay, a little bratty. I like how dark she went, though.
Wait till your
Like,
girls are adults.
Okay, well, they're not going to be cutting anybody's throat, I hope.
No, I hope not either.
What? Anyway, and I know the fact that she thought she could bring him back to life without any consequences. Right, I get it. I get the whole thing.
Yes.
Teenagers. Anyway, but I really liked her friend, Ross. I thought Ross was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
And the whole thing with the whole African-American mythos of the cunning. I thought that was
Yes,
really
the
cool
cunning,
that they used that. So
That
her
reminds me of the
grandmother had
Vampire
it.
Diaries.
She's losing her vision, but she's getting other Daredevil-like senses, but actually more than Daredevil, rather.
Yeah.
I'm hoping she doesn't lose her vision, though. So I really liked her.
Of
Yes,
course.
I thought Ross was a great character. Jazz Sinclair, who plays her, is a relatively new actor. I haven't seen her in a lot of stuff that I've recognized.
And she was fantastic.
And she was fantastic in it, I agree.
She's cute, and I liked a lot of her, the relationship she had with Sabrina.
Yeah,
Right.
and I also liked her friend Susie.
Who was fantastic. Like, this is like such a big deal
It
for
is a
shows
huge
to
deal.
see a character like this, honestly, especially for like a show that is somewhat for a younger audience.
It
It
is,
could be
yeah.
for a younger
Yeah,
audience.
I think like teenagers.
Yeah, like
Agreed.
Buffy-esque sort of audience. But Susie is a trans character played by a trans man. And which is a big deal because a lot of times you see trans characters.
Played by a heterosexual.
Yes. And to see someone portray someone that they're so close to is so fantastic. And done in such a really cool way. Because you
so
see
great.
how Susie tackles this revelation about himself throughout the series, really. And not
Exactly.
just with himself, but his own relatives. He sees that other relatives that he's have dealt with the same thing. Like his uncle
Yes.
was dealing with a similar situation that he did not feel comfortable coming out with.
Yes. Mhm.
And then Susie's grandmother.
Oh, the great
Yeah,
grandmother.
the one that
descendant.
hid all
Yeah.
the witches that helped him out.
Yeah.
I liked Susie's power. I like how all of Sabrina's friends had powers.
Which is important because that helps connect them all, right? Even Harvey has Harvey Kinkle, which is Sabrina's boyfriend, played by Ross Lynch, who also played Jeffrey Dahmer, by the way. My friend Dahmer.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. But even he had the connection. They're the witch hunter family.
Yeah.
The Kinkles are the witch hunters.
The Von Kinkles.
The Von Kinkles.
He was one of the characters I did not like. And it wasn't because of the character, it was just more of because of the actor.
You didn't care for the actor, that's
I don't
right.
think the actor was that good at, especially with the delivery of, hey, my brother just came back from the dead. And not
didn't
flipping
like
the
it.
fuck out, like, my brother's back from the dead. And then so it kind of took away from when he had to shoot his, which, by the way, Sabrina killed that dude like 3 different times. So,
Yeah.
like the brother that she tried to bring back from
Poor
the dead.
Tyler.
But anyway, yeah, like, so it took away
Yeah.
from that scene where he had to shoot his brother in the head. And I'm like, I feel nothing.
Interesting
I
note.
understand.
Yeah.
But also, I guess I'm okay with it because Harvey Kinkle, throughout his inception, has always been a very
Vanilla character, right?
Yeah.
Even when
And it's okay to have
his
those characters.
expressions
A little
and his
dopey.
emotions. Yeah, a little dopey. Even in Sabrina Teenage Witch, he was a little dopey. That actor who played him.
But Xander was wonderful.
But Xander.
He's no Xander.
He's no Xander. Not everyone can have a Xander in their story. Interesting note about that in the comic, it's actually Harvey who is killed,
Not the brother?
Not the brother. There's no brother.
Oh, okay.
Harvey is
Interesting.
killed and brought back to life by Sabrina.
Okay.
So that's an interesting difference
I like
between the comics and
other side boyfriend better, or potential
Nick?
boyfriend.
Yes,
Ooh,
Nicholas. Yes, by
The-
Gavin Leatherwood. Yes,
I liked him better.
fantastic.
I did like how both of them met kind of like in the final episode.
Oh, I
The
think that was great.
that
Yeah,
was a
he was
really cool-
protecting him.
Right.
Yeah.
He's like, Sabrina sent me to, stay here with you.
It was great.
Because he's a human. He can't
Yes.
fight these 13 witches that are coming back.
No, he can't.
And then she lives with her Aunt Zelda and Hilda, right?
Yes.
Who have an interesting relationship.
Very interesting relationship.
Because I was like, what? Like, yeah, the whole time I'm like, this show's kind of hokey. And then she kills her sister.
It was such a great turn.
Yeah.
It shocked me. I was like, what?
and over and over and over again. And then I thought, oh, so this is something that's normal for witches.
This
but
is-
it's super
Apparently
not.
not.
This is just them.
Zelda or Hilda?
I would not choose between them.
Oh, yeah. But I
They're
mean,
both wonderful in
they're
their
both
own way.
wonderful, and they're fantastic actresses because you have Hilda, played by Lucy Davis, from The Office, the the British office. She was the Pam.
She was also in Wonder Woman.
Yes, so that was great.
She was lovely.
She was lovely. I love that actress. And then, of course, Zelda was played by Miranda Otto.
Who played who?
Eowyn.
Nerd.
Yes.
I am no man.
She was awesome, and I was so excited to see her. I love seeing that actress whenever she gets a chance to be on screen. So she was great in that role as well.
And then don't forget Bronson Pinchot played the principal for Perfect Strangers.
What an interesting actor just to be popping up on the screen to me.
Yeah.
Like an 80s icon, like long gone.
I don't know if he was like icon.
Well, but he was very popular in the TV.
Balky wasn't that popular.
Ambrose, her cousin.
Okay.
Who's a really cool character.
A really interesting character.
I think he's a cool character with a missed opportunity. Like, I think I liked him at the beginning, but towards the end of the series, it's like the writer didn't know what else to do with the character.
Well, I think they wanted to ingrain him more into the story that's going on now that Sabrina's going to end up at the Academy of the Undead Arts.
Yeah.
So his whole story revolves around him being trapped at the house because he tried to burn down the Vatican. Right?
Correct.
And that was against some kind of law or rule.
Yes.
So he is now house arrest for
that's why he has to use the astral projection.
Couple of 100 years.
Yeah.
And then Prudence. And what is her gang called?
Prudence.
The Three Sisters.
The Weird Sisters.
The Sisters.
Out of Macbeth. Yeah, it was.
Oh, I thought it was Hocus Pocus.
No,
which I've never seen.
You are really lacking in your
I'm
witch
one of those guys.
mythology.
Okay, have you seen The Craft?
I had fucking Hocus Pocus and Practical Magic.
He thinks they're the same thing, which I.
We're gonna have like a whole.
Yes, we're gonna make him watch it. We'll do an episode.
Practical
Magic.
Magic.
Wait, I've seen The Craft.
Hocus Pocus, but we're gonna watch it again.
Watch it again, and we'll do a witches themed episode for Omar. Because he clearly has missing things. But I thought that was that trio. Well, I especially loved Prudence.
Oh,
I thought her story took a very unexpected turn.
Yeah, I didn't see that twist of her being the bastard
child. Father Blackwood.
Who is played by who?
Richard Coyle.
I love that guy because Coupling was one of my favorite series on BBC. Stephen Moffat wrote it, by the way, if you guys haven't seen it. It's brilliant. It's kind of like Friends, but in England. So, anyway.
And he has the little bit of that snarky humor about him. And I think that's throughout the entire series, though. Everyone has a little bit of that. There is that dark humor just throughout it, which I think makes it fantastic.
Can we go back to Prudence and that one hot Fiona Apple criminal video scene? That's all I kept thinking.
And they played Fiona Apple, too.
Yes, they did.
I didn't even notice because I was paying too much attention to what was happening.
They knew it. They put a lot of Easter eggs.
That was such a hot scene.
I'll never be as cool as Prudence. She's so cool.
Yeah.
She really is. And I love the way that her and her two friends, and with Sabrina's help, like fool those guys in the
cave, yes,
to make out with each other.
That was great.
To get back for what they did to
Susie. So, were there any particular scenes or episodes or anything that really stood out to you guys?
Yes.
Okay, besides the orgy, was there anything? Well, because I know you mentioned. Okay,
no, really,
not that it was your favorite scene, but some that you mentioned that was really interesting is how the episode with Batty Bat reminded you.
Oh, I forgot about that. I feel like the budget that they spent on that was like, hey, we don't have any more money.
Yes.
Because everything else looks really good. Like, seriously, like the Scarecrow, I thought that was a really well done and kind of creepy way.
That was...
The way that Salem turned from a goblin to a cat, that was really good. A lot of the CG, the burning of the witches at the end, that was really cool. Have y'all ever seen Witches? Speaking of witches, with Angelica Houston? That's what it kind of looked like, but not that good. That's how Batty Bats look like.
Yeah,
so
Batty Bat could have used a...
They really could have used a budget on this episode. But the episode itself reminded me of a Buffy the Vampire Slayer episode.
It feels like a Monster of the Week episode.
It was.
It could have placed it anywhere.
It was
like, well, we need to have some more content, which is not a bad thing. You should have episodes like that.
Yeah,
that
it was
aren't
10
the main...
It's a filler episode. Yeah, you just need one of those every once in a while, and it's
I was a big sucker for episodes 9 and 10. They have this oncoming battle that her friends kind of find out, she's a witch.
And I'm so glad they did that too.
Yeah, I am too.
It's a trend you're seeing in a lot of shows where you have the chosen one character, that one character, and they have to hide the secret, whether it be a superhero or whatever. And you're seeing a lot of shows nowadays
because kids aren't that stupid anymore.
Yeah, they're starting. It's like within that first season. A lot of people
like they were when I was young.
Yeah.
All the kids that were sidekicks.
Half of Flash, they all knew by the time of season 1 that he was the Flash. And I like that. I don't like people being kept in the dark. Sorry, Spider-Man.
I like her signing the book.
I thought that was great.
I didn't see that coming. Honestly, I didn't see that in her cutting that Agatha, is that her name?
Yes.
Agatha's throat. I didn't see her cutting her throat because I'm like, okay, surely she just cut her throat.
Yep.
Because I totally forgot about her aunt and coming back. I totally forgot about that. And so they kind of had me fooled. And I love the twist at the end with Madame Satan.
Yes.
The whole
The
where she
reveal.
rips her face off and I assume eats Bronson Pinchot's character.
I think she pretty much ate them because they're cannibals, which is another interesting.
Oh, that's weird too.
Yeah, all of the witches are cannibals, and you somehow just accept this because it's that dark humor again that fits so well with this, and it makes you think. Of course, this is how it should have been the entire time. Like you think about Sabrina the Teenage Witch, which is definitely not dark humor at all, and you're like, no, that's not. This is what it should have been. This is awesome the way it's done.
And that's the cool thing about how they do it because it's just their lives, right? It's just, this is just regular mundane things to them. So that's why there's no big like focus on any of it, and it's all just like, this is we brought a body.
Yeah,
we're gonna have a big meal tonight. Like,
now, a funeral home is a great job for them.
Yeah. What about you, Maddie? What did you like, or characters?
It's really hard for me to think of like a favorite episode because I loved everything. I loved it the entire time. Okay. And of course I liked a lot of the same scenes. So I liked the end and the big twist. Yes. I liked every time we learned more about each of the side characters, all of her friends. Mm-hmm. There's one scene in particular that stands out to me, and I can't explain why, but maybe it's because I like seeing Hilda when we get to see Hilda.
Yes.
But there's a scene where Hilda's working in the cafe.
Yes.
And two of the jocks come in to bully Susie again. Mm-hmm. And Hilda's not having it. And so she goes up to them, and she's like, listen, I know that something awful happened to you.
That was a great scene.
When you were young, and you did not deserve it. But you have no right to pick on this boy right here. And also, your friend is madly in love with you. I thought that was great. And I don't know why that sticks in my head, but I just like
because you see like Hilda throughout the entire thing. She kind of takes a backseat to her sister.
Well, that's also the comeuppance of characters.
Exactly, and you love seeing that. So that was I agree.
Pretty Woman, big mistake, huge mistake. Anyway, go ahead. What about you, Amanda?
I think besides the ending, obviously, but one of my favorite episodes is actually the episode where she went on trial. I found the trial very compelling. I loved the character who came in to be her lawyer. Because he owed her
that was
dad.
Interesting.
I thought that was such an interesting twist, and how they had to use basically her dual nature and all this stuff to figure out how she should be tried in which mortal versus which law. It was such an interesting.
She does make a compelling argument, though. Like,
she did.
I don't have to sign that book.
She doesn't. She's she does not have to. The only people, they just want her because that's what the devil wants for his nefarious purposes.
Did you all like the look of the devil? The dark master?
Oh, it is. Yeah, it was. Yeah. If that's what you expect. The goat man. That's what I expected. So
that's what's in the lore, I guess. The lore, it's not the cool,
that's what's
sexy
in Berserk.
thing.
Yeah, he's not going to be cool, sexy devil. Yeah, he's not Lucifer from Lucifer.
But honestly, that makes it kind of cooler and creepier.
Oh, yeah.
And it raises the stakes for Sabrina, too, because, before she signs the book, or she's going to sign the book for dark baptism, she thinks this is the kind of Satanism you read about, where it's like, oh, it's free will, I get to decide what I want to do for myself. That's what this is about.
Works,
and then she gets there and it's like, psych!
Nope.
You've got to do whatever the devil tells you to do at any time. And she's like,
his bidding.
This is really creeping me out. Hard pass.
I'm kind of shocked neither one of you two picked the final shot as your favorite part.
Oh, when
where
she's
she
walking
turns,
with a cool outfit.
that slow motion,
and she smiles.
And she's got the white hair from the comic books.
Yes, I do like that.
And
I'm not gonna lie.
And you know that season 2, she's like, oh, she might be a little evil.
And even Nicholas is like, ooh, like
yeah,
even
he's got that
leery
like,
about
wait
it.
a minute,
He's like, wait
what's
a minute, this
happening
isn't
here?
good. Because I think he likes Sabrina. Obviously, I think he fell in love with the fact that she has that dual nature. That she's not a weird sister. She doesn't have she's not evil or ghost stabs people behind their backs or anything like that. So it'll be really fun to see her character, and if she's even going to talk to her friends, because even they question that at the end of the season. They're like,
you think
she's
that they'll
still Sabrina,
focus...
right? I mean, she's still going to talk to us.
So really quick then, what do you want out of season 2? Because it's been picked up, right?
Yes.
Like they picked up season 1 and 2 back to back.
Well, what I want to see is I want to see. Obviously we're going to see the conflict between Sabrina now being a full-fledged witch, and how she's going to come to terms out with her mortal friendships. If she's going to, if she's going to shuck them aside, or if she's going to continue, or she's going to try to build those relationships as they are. I'm really interested also to see this impending fight between the witches and Blackwood's aired the men taking over this. Essentially this Satanism, even though it's Satan, it's dominated by these female witches, right? They dominate this religion. And it's very, very progressive, very different. That's why it's such a compelling, that Sabrina's at the center of it. So to see that impending fight between them is going to be very interesting. And what is Zelda gonna do with his twin daughter that he kept?
I thought that was really cool that she told him, like, oh yeah, the male child ate the other one. Because he was like, oh, okay. That's what happens with witch children. What about you, Maddie? What do you want to see in season 2?
So how I see it going right now is that she's probably going to spend the first part of season 2, you know, kind of living it up in this dark side of her.
Yep.
But I think there'll come a time where she realizes again.
I miss prom.
Maybe. She probably will miss prom, I'm assuming.
But I hope that like part of the season is her like getting more and more powerful, learning how to deal with that. Mm-hmm. But then I want there to be a twist where it's like, oh, you thought I was just on your side the whole time. No, now I use my powers against you because I'm going to fight Satan like I said I was going to this whole time.
Okay.
Be so cool.
Yes.
So you want a very almost formulaic kind of show.
Well,
where
it's not
the twist is that she will come back. Because honestly, that's probably where it's gonna go. Yeah. I want it to go the other way. I just want her to get dark, and I want the show to get darker. We know that's not gonna happen. We know that she will eventually, like you said, come back to the lighter side.
Even with
I do want to see what's going on with Hilda and her man with the glowing red eyes from Thriller. That's all I remember is the Thriller laugh.
Cerebus, Dr. Cerebus.
Remember his eyes were glowing red. So what would you give it, Amanda?
I would give it an 8.5 out of 10.
8.5 out of 10. Maddie?
10 out of 10.
Wow, firing on all cylinders for you. 7 out of 10. It kept my interest.
Okay.
And I thought it was good enough. It surprised me, but 7 out of 10, I think it's, that's what I would give it.
Wonderful. But we want to know what you guys think. So, what do you think of the first season of The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina? Go ahead and comment below and let us know what you expected to see out of it, if you got what you expected, what you're looking for season 2. And don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons so you can keep watching more amazing content from us here at the Near Mint Condition family.
Family.
Family. So thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned for our next episodes. Bye, guys. On today's episode of Real Talk... Nope. One more time.
Hey, Maddie. So you're the expert on Sabrina, right? That's why you're here?
No.
Is that where we're starting?
Are you questioning me?
I didn't know when it ended.
I'm sorry, I forgot this is the Amanda show. Go ahead.
No. Stay tuned.
That was great. That was awesome. Can we do that one more time, though? Because I was making a face that time.
Are we going to... On today's episode of Reels Talk with Amanda and Omar... Say, why are you going to laugh and come and say it?